We're going to learn how to do a provisional cast on into a long tail cast on. We need our working yarn, we need our waste yarn, and we need our needles. Because I'm using 2 fingerings held double, I've chosen a waste yarn that is a DK. So it's roughly the same sort of weight. It's a nice smooth yarn. It's not too sticky. So the way to get started is to work a long tail cast on into our waste yarn. And you need to get a tail long enough to manage all the stitches you're about to cast on. And then you need to begin. So the way I like to begin a long tail cast on is to just start with my needle going up under the loop, and then I begin my long tail cast on like so. Remembering to hold your tail at the front. You'll work in a triangle over your thumb and forefinger, and I just cast on my long tail cast on. I twist my work, I grab the yarn from under my thumb, I lift it up, I grab the back yarn and bring it back through the loop and hold it tight. Up, back, and in. So hopefully you're familiar with a long tail cast on already. Right, I've cast on a bunch of stitches. I'm going to tie my tail and my yarn into a knot. Just a simple knot at the bottom so it doesn't come undone. And I'm going to break my yarn. Then I'm going to slide my stitches to the right hand needle on my circular needle. So here I am at the end of my needle, ready to start my next row. There's a little trick when you're working a provisional cast on and grafting to join 2 pieces together. And that is that the grafting ends up using 2 rows of work, and it creates 2 rows. And because we're doing a garter, we're going to create a garter ripple. What I've decided to do is I've decided to begin with my last row in the pattern, and I'm going to use this second to last row as my grafting row. So in total in the pattern you're using, there's a repeat of 16 rows. I'm going to start now with row 16 and finish the pattern on row 14, and then I'll graft row 15. It will become clear to you as we finish, but I wanted to do something that wasn't too complicated for you in terms of stitches, because we're dropping and picking up yarn when we're working it together or separately as we go along. So if you're interested to know, the next row we're going to work is actually the last row in the pattern. We're going to end on this row here, the third to last row. We will have had all the rows leading up to that in the last repeat. And this row is the grafting row. So what is the last row in our pattern? Well, it happens to be a purl row. So we're going to start by working both of our yarns together, and we're going to purl all the way to the end of the row. So I just start by bringing my yarn to the front so I can work my purl. I stick my needle into my first stitch. I like to hold it firmly in my left hand, my tail, and then I wind my yarn round and pull it out, and I purl all the way to the end of this row. Oops, I just take care to grab both yarns together as I'm doing it. Now what I'm going to show you through the course of this is both grafting and also duplicate stitch, so that we get to perfect these last 2 rows to make the pattern flow beautifully across the graft. But for now, we're just purling. And here we are at the end of the row. The next step is going to be to join this in the round. You obviously are going to have much more stitches for your cowl, but you're going to join these in the round. You're going to wind this first stitch right around. You're going to place a marker, and then you're going to continue working in the round. I just wanted to show you what you can see here on this work is you can see your working yarn peeping through as little stitches in the provisional cast on. That is what you're going to pick up at the end, those little stitches. They're beautifully clear and easy to see in my yarn. So don't forget to make your the provisional yarn that you're using, the waste yarn, make it look sufficiently different from your working yarn so that these stitches are easy to spot.